The first thing he made in his mother's kitchen was a handkerchief emblazoned with a Union Jack. Now the British designer Sir Paul Smith has turned his quirky tailoring into a global brand with more than 300 stores around the world. But as a teenager, all he ever wanted to be was a professional cyclist. I've been talking to him about sport, fashion, and the real cost of cheap clothes.
Sir Paul Smith was never meant to be a fashion designer. As a teenager in Nottingham without any qualifications, he'd set his heart on being a racing cyclist. But a serious accident left him in hospital for 6 months. When he recovered, he abandoned his sporting dreams and went to work in a clothes shop. Cycling's loss, though, was the fashion industry's gain. More than 30 years after opening his first shop in London, his clothes are now sold in 66 countries and his global brand is worth hundreds of millions of pounds. Today he announced his newest line will be an exhibition at the Design Museum, featuring his work over 4 decades and some of these weird and wonderful objects sent to him by fans.
My room is full of things, beautiful kitsch, no value, lots of value. The interesting thing about it is the fact that people from the age of 6 to 90, and it's really that wide, just feel they can actually send things to me.
Why do you think that is, though? Why have they picked you to do this?
I just hope it's just that I've got a very open personality. I'm very down to earth and easy to talk to, and I don't know, I seem to have a reputation for being fun, I suppose.
Well, the other thing that's recreated in the exhibition is your first shop in Nottingham, 3 metres by 3 metres, I think, wasn't it? Looking back now and imagining if you were Paul Smith today, starting out, do you think you'd have made it the way you have?
I have lots of young designers often come to me for advice, or I do talks somewhere, and it's really interesting to see their idea of how you should start, which is I should start with a press officer and a fashion show, but they haven't got any money or a manufacturer or any ideas of where they're going to make things, so they're starting sort of at the wrong bit.
Wanting to run before they can walk, really?
Yeah, and that's because they're comparing all the time.
The British fashion industry, the government says, is absolutely crucial to the future of the UK economy. Do you think that ministers are doing enough to support it, or would you like them to do more in various different areas?
You can't run a business for somebody, that's the problem. I mean, I'm old enough to have tried to fight my corner for design from Thatcher, Heseltine, all the way through to the current government. And they constantly are saying that they're committed to bringing manufacturing back to Britain and they're willing to back it, which is fantastic, but we need a product. So the design, there's got to be more emphasis on the promotion of the fact that design has got to have a point of view.
That's down to individual entrepreneurialism, is it?
It's very much to being an entrepreneur and to understand the different elements.
90% of the clothes that we all wear are made abroad, and I think I'm right in saying that your first piece was a Union Jack handkerchief, and yet you make your clothes in Italy, most of them anyway. I mean, do you think you're bringing more manufacturing back?
Now there is a will and a wish from people and the government to try and bring it back, and it is slowly coming back. But
when will you bring yours back then?
Well, you can only bring it back if there are manufacturers to make the things.
But that's back to the government, isn't it, to sort of give incentives?
You probably need tax breaks for new machinery, but also it's not just about money, it's about attitude.
We talked earlier about global fashion brands making sort of reasonable clothes on the high street. Obviously, the price the price that other people are paying for those clothes has been laid bare in Bangladesh recently with the building collapse. Do you think that retailers need to take more responsibility, or do consumers need to take more responsibility for the clothes they're buying, the cheap clothes they're buying?
In our case, we have a big production team that travels all the time, constantly on planes, visiting the places where we make things. But maybe that needs to happen more. But it's not always the case that you actually know that something is being made in the place it's supposed to be made, because they put work out to different factories. So it's a very difficult thing, and whether the public should be involved, I don't know.
Or should the public expect to pay more for their clothes, do you think?
I think we can't expect them to pay more if they don't have the cash. I mean, a lot of people out there are struggling to even feed their children and to keep themselves going. So
you've clothed prime ministers. The current Prime Minister has been seen wearing Paul Smith,
Yeah.
Tony Blair famously.
Yeah.
Do you like to see public figures wearing your clothes? Is that important to you?
The difference between me and a lot of the others out there is a lot of it's very much about celebrity dressing in order to create a high image for your company. And I've never courted that. It's just not in my nature. So the man who sweeps the street or the boss of a country is equal to me. That might your viewers are probably saying, oh, I bet that's not really
man on the
true.
street can't afford your clothes.
No, but in terms of how I value them as a human being, the first person I speak to every day is a road sweeper outside of the place where I go swimming, and he's a very nice man, a very good guy. So, let's get elitist about it.
So that matters more to you than seeing someone like, say, the Duchess of Cambridge wearing your clothes?
I'm not sure at the moment. I'm not sure we've got ones with big enough tummy bits.
You need a maternity range.
Yeah, not another collection. No thanks. I'm already working nights. That's why I'm a knight, of course.
Paul Smith, thank you very much.